Radio Rahim with Andy Lee. We are in some incredible digs here at the top floor, looking all over London. And I must say, there's a lot of times when fighters are in different stages of their career and they have a lot of pressure on them. There's a lot of things happening and you want to gauge where they are. But you right now as a trainer, I got to say, you're kind of the it guy. You have a handful of fighters that are right on the cusp of major events. What's that like for you in this position?
It's exciting. It's rewarding, but it's a lot of work. You know what I mean? It's intense, and it's just it's like the movie title, one battle after another. It's just one battle after another. That's what it's like. Yeah.
Well, it's a hit. I'm assuming that you're Leonardo DiCaprio then.
Yeah. No. Sean Penn. No.
We are here for Ben Whittaker and this announcement that has come recently with Matchroom, and there's an opponent, and so we will get to that. But you have so many fighters, really. I'm just going to kind of tick in the order of who we're likely to see next, and of course, Joseph Parker will be the next in just a week's time. When the fight was announced, it's a good fight. Wardley is definitely going to come to bring everything that he has in the kitchen sink. But I thought to myself, why take this fight when we know what's on the cuffs and how long Parker's been waiting to get that shot at a real title?
Yeah, but how long is he going to have to wait? He hasn't fought since February, and that was 2 rounds. And if you're going in with Usyk, you want to be active, you want to be sharp, and not coming off almost over a year's layoff. You know what I mean? So it's important to keep fighting. He's been waiting, and even since then, there's been no sign that Usyk's going to fight him. So take 1 in the hand, 2 in the bush. You take the one that's there, and it's a dangerous fight, but it's a great fight for the fans, and it shows you again Joseph will step in with anybody.
Do you think that's fair on Usyk's part? Is he holding these titles hostage a bit?
No, listen, he's earned the right to. And he's earned the right to weigh up his options. In an ideal world for us, he'd say, yeah, I'm fighting Joe next. But it's not that way anymore, is it? Especially with these crossover fights and different events, there's so much money to be made out there. And I guess he just wants to see what his options are. But hopefully he does the right thing eventually and fights Joseph.
Now, there's a few ways this could play out. I mean, Tyson Fury's in the wings now. He's kicking off again about wanting a third fight with Usyk. It's likely a bigger money fight could happen if Usyk were to let these titles splinter. You as a trainer, do you want Parker to face Usyk so he can prove that he can beat the best of the best, or is it just about getting a world title at this point?
I think they're both important, not exclusive. I think fighting Usyk, any fighter wants to fight the best. They all want to be at the top of the game and challenge themselves, and that is Usyk if you're a heavyweight. But Joe does have a desire to be 2-time world champion, and listen, wherever it comes and whatever shape it comes in, I think Joe will be a 2-time world champion when he gets the opportunity.
He's certainly on that kind of run. He's knocking down giants left and right, back to back. This Wardley fight is certainly a dangerous one. We saw what Wardley was able to do in the last round of a very difficult fight. He might have been on his way to losing. And he's also a bit unorthodox, not having the amateur pedigree and such. How do you train for a fighter like that?
All fighters have patterns of fighting, and you watch them and study them and try to implement ways of beating them. It's punches that will work, combinations that will work, movements that will work, and then you focus on improving your fighter as well, making him the best he can be. And as long as Joe is firing on all cylinders, I think he'll have enough to beat Wardley, even though, like you said, dangerous fight.
Is there any concern about a timetable creeping in on Joe? Nobody's getting any younger, and if they keep moving the goalposts...
Yeah. He's 33, so still relatively young, and he says himself he's got another 2 years left, so we'll keep going. This is fight number 40 for him, so it's been a long and successful career.
Lastly, on Parker, obviously the Usyk fight is what you want, but if that stays elusive, are there other fights for him that you're excited about?
There's nobody else out there for him to fight, is there? He's only looking down. He's looking up at Usyk, wanting to fight him. Everybody else, he's looking down. Isn't it? Come on, tell me if you disagree. Like Anthony Joshua will always be an exciting fight because he'd want to revenge the loss. But other than that, I think it's Usyk.
A fighter who's definitely looking up at a lot of potential and has maybe some of the most conversation about him at the minute, of course, is Ben Whittaker, who we're here to discuss. When it comes to a fighter choosing another promoter and getting into another contract and with another set of options, how much does the trainer, or you in this case, factor into this decision?
To be honest with you, I left Ben to make the decision himself, because I'm his coach, and we only had one camp together. We haven't had, like, it's not like we've been together since day one. So I don't want to be seen to influence him in a way or like be favouring anybody. You know what I mean? Be favouring anybody, like, or trying to pull him in a certain way. I just let him make his decision. It's his career. But, he's picked Matchroom, and it's a fantastic outfit. He couldn't be with anybody better, really.
All right, well, with that said, the decision's been made. He ain't changing it now, no matter what you say. But you have been in this boxing game as a fighter, a trainer. You've been in there much longer than him. He's coming into his own now. Now that the decision's been made, like, what do you feel that Matchroom bring to the table that might have made it a better decision than Queensberry?
No, I think either of them, like, when you have a fighter like Ben, what's he got, 4 million followers, can promote himself in and out of the ring. It's not a hard job for any promoter, is it? It's an easy job for a promoter. But I think what Ben needs is structure and a pathway and development. Fighting at a certain level and then stepping up and then fighting at another certain level and building that real steel and confidence that when he eventually fights for a world title, he'll have been through a lot of different experiences, you know what I mean? Not just jumping straight up in the levels. I think he needs to be guided and developed.
As you said, you've only been together for one fight, but boy, it was the most important fight of his career as you came in the correct course. Yeah. A lot of the antics that we saw that made him popular, a lot of this following that he has is due to his personality. We saw the quite theatrical announcement. However, in the ring, are we anticipating the same kind of showboating and a bit of silliness that we've seen in the past, or is that a thing of the past for Ben Whittaker?
I think it's part of his personality, isn't it? And you have to fight like your personality. Your personality reflects how you fight, your character, and that's how he is. So I think he'll always have that in him, and you can't take that away either, because you'll be taking something from him. For me, it's just about adding stuff, giving him discipline, giving him structure and guidance. That's my main job. Like, he's so talented and skillful. It's not about teaching him how to throw or 1-2. It's just about programming the mindset and the confidence.
While you may not have been engaged in picking a promoter, surely you'll be engaged in picking opponents moving forward. How quickly would you want to move a Ben Whittaker into the elite ranks of the 175-pound division? Is just a ton of monsters, to be fair.
There is, but he's the one with the right development. He's the one to beat them all with talent-wise. He just needs development. He's only had 9-10 fights. You know what I mean? So it's not. I think he needs maybe two fights at this level. Step up to the British level, but the British level is a very high standard. The British light heavyweight scene are very high in the world rankings, and then go for it then. But he needs about 3 or 4 fights, build him the right way, and then he'll be ready to go.
What is it that you think he has? When you say he beats them all, I mean, there's a bunch of names there. We're talking about BETERBIEV, BIVOL, BENEVIDES at this point, even Callum Smith.
Gavazi,
yeah.
Anthony Hearn, there's BENEVIDES, all these names. But when you look at BETERBIEV, BIVOL, maybe Callum Smith, maybe I don't know. Another year or two, they're going to be gone. Ben's going to be right in the position to challenge whoever is at the top then.
What does he have that none of them have, especially in 10 fights that you can see where he beats them all?
Talent, ability. That's the thing that you can't teach. Everything else he can be taught. I think he showed in his last fight he's starting to punch hard. and he has the X factor. He can do everything in the ring. You see, he's an Olympic silver medalist. Almost won the final, you know, and then the other day he might have won the final. So that shows you where his talent is. They're all good fighters, no disrespect, but Ben's right up there with them.
We talk about just a few months ago, everyone's anticipating, well, you know, Canelo comes through as a favorite against Crawford. The Shiraz fight is set up. It's ready to go. So I'm questioning whether or not it's time for Shiraz to have that fight. Where is he at now? Is Canelo still the opponent for him?
I think it could be eventually, but I don't think it's going to be the next fight. From what I'm hearing, I think Hamza's going to fight in February. I don't think Canelo will be ready to fight in February. That's just what I've heard. So Hamza's going to fight, I think, February, maybe around that time. And we're just looking for a top-class opponent.
Now, is that because Canelo is not interested in this fight? Is that a fight you would still be interested in, putting your man against Canelo?
Yeah, I think Hamza's ready to challenge anybody. He's proven he drew for the world middleweight title. He's just coming off a great career victory over Berlanga, career high victory. And what's next to do? You know what I mean? Like I said about Usyk, everybody wants to fight the best in the division.
Well, who's there to test him then? How do we get him to that next level if it's not the Canelo and the big money fight?
Well, there's a number of, like, the super middleweight division is not as strong as it once was a few years back when you had the likes of Caleb Plant, Anthony and Andre Durrell and, you know, all of those type of guys. But to me, I think the best young fighter out there next to Hamza is Diego Pacheco. He's a great fighter. He's young, tall like Hamza, can box and fight. That would be a hell of a fight. There's not many other ones out there really in the middleweight division. Not many big names in the super middleweight division at the moment.
Right. Lastly, I spoke to you just before we got on camera about where you train there in Ireland, and you have all this talent that you're looking after. You have them in the gym together. Are they?
They've never been in the gym together. Some of them have trained together, like Ben and Paddy have trained together. Joe and Paddy have trained together. This week, Ben and Joseph Parker will be training together, but never had all four of them in the ring together yet, but maybe someday. We train in Ballybrack Gym. It's a humble community gym in suburbs of County Dublin, and you see all these superstar boxers walking around. People can't recognize, they don't know what's going on, but it's that's what I'm saying. But you have to be humble coming to the gym because that surrounding will humble you. You know?
Your style of late has been compared to an Emmanuel Stewart type of environment. Well, are you going to have us an Irish crunk gym?
Yeah, that's well. The Ballybrack is the spiritual crunk gym.
There it is.
Yeah.
Radio Rahim with Andy Lee. I mean, you're a busy man. We'll just see you after fight after fight after fight. Thank you.